raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Right from the start, we're entering a moment that can make or break a case. This is sentencing, where the defendant has one last chance to speak directly to the judge. Sometimes these statements show genuine remorse, and sometimes prosecutors argue they're just damage control. So the big question here is this letter an honest reflection or a carefully crafted strategy?
Go ahead and proceed.
Ma'am, could you please state your name for the record?
Natalie Fonseca.
When you entered a plea on this case,
Allowing a defendant to read a personal letter during sentencing is actually pretty common in court. It's called an allocution, a moment where the defendant can explain their actions, show remorse, or provide context about their life. But here's the catch. Prosecutors will listen very carefully to see whether the defendant truly accepts responsibility or subtly shifts blame.
quite a few months ago, didn't you?
Correct.
Now, you have a letter that you'd like to read to the judge.
I do.
Your Honor, I'd ask the court to allow her to read the letter to you, and then I'll go with some questions.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
That's fine.
Notice how the letter opens with metaphor. Storms of life. That kind of language can be powerful in court because it frames the defendant's story emotionally. But prosecutors often view this kind of narrative skeptically. They're not looking for poetry. They're looking for accountability.
Your Honor. We are never ready for the storm of life.
And here's the moment the prosecutor will likely focus on. The letter begins shifting toward Mr. Reynolds, the co-defendant. In sentencing hearings, this can be risky. Judges often want to hear, here's what I did wrong, not here's why someone else is responsible. So the question becomes, is she explaining trauma or redirecting blame?
We are never ready for the storms of life. You can search for shelter from the storm, but sometimes there is none. To be found, and you find yourself completely exposed. Some of life's storms are mild enough that you make the best of them and dance in the rain, but others are so violent that they knock the wind out of you, leaving you gasping for air and questioning everything. There are no words for what both victims and myself have experienced. Even words tripping with me leave so much unsaid. I can never get down on paper the mental, emotional, and physical abuse that has developed from being in a relationship with Mr. Reynolds since July 9, 2015.
This part of the letter is fascinating because it blends two themes, accountability and personal trauma. She admits mistakes, but also paints a picture of manipulation and abuse. So let me ask you, do you think the judge hears this as genuine growth or as an attempt to soften the consequences? Let me know what you think.
I felt the need to protect someone who created trauma within me and took advantage of my vulnerability. This phase in my life where my freedom was paused has taught me about life and most importantly about myself. Not everyone has good intentions in life. Mr. Reynolds persuaded my mentor with rainbows and unicorns to give me.
And just as the emotional letter wraps up, the courtroom tone is about to change dramatically because now the prosecutors step in, and their job is to test every single claim she just made. In other words, the sympathy of the letter is about to collide with the cold facts of the case.
Out of my mother's house at the age of 16. Where I was once pure, enjoying life as a teen, I thought love was what I found, but love only became a mental illness. I became fragile, confused, addicted, even suicidal. Every visible scar on my body came from Mr. Reynolds. As of today, I acknowledge my mistakes, and I know my worth. I can go back to school for not only my GED or diploma, but for my writing, to go beyond my crafty words, for my amazing talent doing hair and eyebrows. I learned that honesty is a few steps in gaining trust, along with taking accountability for my own actions. I know in the beginning I was not completely honest, but I opened up, and it has relieved me of many nightmares and dark shadows. Even minimize my fears. Mr. Reynolds may not have succeeded in taking the victim's life or my life over the years, but he definitely changed it forever. I had a chance to speak up, but afraid of the many threats, I was regretfully silent. And that was selfish of me. I will forever be hurt by what happened and the way it happened, because I never felt that I knew it.
Ms. Fonseca, I asked you at first that you entered a plea. That was you taking responsibility for your actions, correct?
It was.
And after you entered that plea, you did depositions on this case.
I did 2 of them.
And in those 2 depositions, you told Mr. Longmire and Mr. Mitchell, you told them what happened, correct?
I did.
Now, while you've been incarcerated since October 23rd, 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I've got a stack, 45, 50 education courses that you took in while you were incarcerated, correct?
Yes.
Everything from wellness programs to Americans with Disabilities Act, being a mentor, all of those.
Yes, sir.
So while you've been in, before this case has come to resolution, you've been trying to improve yourself, correct? And you're not trying to minimize your role in this case, are you? You take responsibility, and that's why you entered a plea, correct?
My own actions, yes.
Now, we don't have family here today to speak for you, but you have family that's in the audience. Your mother and your sister and some other family, correct?
That's right.
And to the judge and to them, to everybody here, to the victims, you're taking responsibility, correct?
Yes, sir.
I have no other questions.
Mr. Mitchell, anything?
Good afternoon. Ms. Fonseca, do you remember me?
I do.
Okay. You remember telling the judge a minute ago that you gave 2 depositions in this case? They were with me, weren't they?
Right.
Do you remember the very first question that you asked when Mr. Longmire and myself walked in the room?
I do.
What was that question?
What would my sentencing be looking like?
If I suggested to you that you said, Mr. Longmire, what am I going to get for talking today? Would you agree that that's the truth? Did you hear your lawyer several times ask that you were taking responsibility for your conduct today? Okay. But what if I suggested to you that in your letter that you read to the judge, you repeatedly deflected towards Mr. Reynolds? Would you agree with that?
I don't agree.
Okay. I certainly appreciate that. Did you hear the victim in this case, the one that took the stand there and testified with an interpreter here in Pensacola, when I said, was one of these people the leader? Was one of these people worse? And he said, no, they were both similarly, situated. Did you hear him say that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, is it your position that the lion's share of the fault goes to Mr. Reynolds? Because listening to you read that letter makes me think that's what you're trying to say.
I took accountability for my own actions.
Okay, what were your actions?
I could have spoke up when I had the chance, but I didn't.
Well, when you say the chance is to speak up and tell the truth, are you referring to the 2 times that Mr. Longmire came out to the jail to depose you?
No, at the time of the incident, when it was occurring,
Would you acknowledge that you were not fully truthful at either of the 2 times that Mr. Longmire and I came out to see you?
I was truthful.
Okay, just that's my question.
Mr. Lomar?
So to kind of echo what Mr. Mitchell's asking you, you remember I did come out and speak with you, correct? And when I did, on both those occasions, certainly the last occasion, did I not say to you that, Ms. Fonseca, I don't believe that you were telling me the complete truth? Did I tell you that?
You did say that.
Did I further tell you that I felt like you were minimizing your role in the situation?
You did say that.
All right. And now you heard me ask Investigator Martinez about when he saw you and Mr. Reynolds at the store. Did you hear me ask him about that?
I did.
And so when you were at the store with Mr. Reynolds, you didn't try to run or get help at any point, did you?
I did not.
And then on the night where Mr. Moreno Ochoa had his throat sliced and thrown off of the bridge, you didn't do anything to help Mr. Ochoa, did you?
I did not.
Call 911 on that night?
I didn't.
And then when you all left from throwing him off of the bridge, telling him that that was going to be his last night on earth, did you go with Mr. Reynolds out to that new area to construct that public? Did you go with Mr. Reynolds then?
Being forced into this whole situation, I did go.
Okay, so that's your position. You were forced in it. But after the van was set on fire, did you also leave with Mr. Reynolds?
Yeah.
Go back to that house, take a shower, climb in that bed, and go to sleep?
Yeah.
And then after that situation, merely 8 days later, on October 16th, did you again go with Mr. Reynolds and participate in a robbery of Mr. Sanchez?
I did not participate.
And I appreciate the fact that you said that. Let me ask you this way. Without you, would Mr. Sanchez ever ended up on Oak Forest Drive? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so Mr. Sanchez only ended up there because he took you home, correct?
Correct.
And then when law enforcement found you and Mr. Reynolds and arrested you all on October 23rd, did you not have the backpack on your back with Mr. Sanchez's items in it?
I did.
And let me ask you, what's the last line of your letter?
I and Natalie Fonseca, I'm a victim.
No, see, that's where you're wrong. Aren't the victims Mr. Moreno, Ochoa, and Mr. Sanchez?
Why wouldn't you consider me as a victim?
Answer my question. Are they the victims or are you the victim today?
All 3 of us are.
Nothing further, Jerry.
Mr. Early?
You took the plea, right, to the charges.
I did.
The only thing in that plea was cap, correct? That was the only promise you were made.
That's right.
You took responsibility for it.
That's right.
No further questions.
All right, ma'am, you can step down.
Your Honor, I only have right.
Okay. Mr. Mitchell?